Today I'm just going to show you a quick tip about using files in your course and how to put them in multiple places. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Files tab here. Notice I put everything in folders. When you just upload things randomly to the course and the modules page, it'll go to uploaded media here, which you're going to see this little I. This means that students have to be given a link to see it. This makes it really hard for students to actually see anything you put in the course, and they might not be able to open it. So we usually move everything out of here. I put everything in files just so I know what it is, where it is, so when I need to maintain it, I know where to go and where to get it. Because when you go into a course that has like 300 files down here, it's really hard to start finding things and to managing it. So the file I'm going to replace today was, I uploaded this new file, data assessment tool. You can always see in your files, you have the date that they were created, who put it in, and then these are the accessibility scores for all of the files. If you want to replace a file, I usually just go right to deleting it. You can also, if you're doing multiples, unpublish them so that you're like marking them as you go for what you want to do. I like to remove them from the course completely, just so that if we're not using a file anymore, if it's old, so it's not cluttering up the course and taking up memory in the course. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to put this file, because it's in multiple places, back to replace the old file that it was having attached to it. So the first place is week 3. This was in one of the clinicals. So it's in the next one. Okay, so it's here. I always name things to give students an idea of what they are, because when we name files, they start to look really messy. And on the user side, just thinking about the student experience, they don't know what all the abbreviations are. They don't know like all the crazy file names that we all come up with that help us organize. They have no idea like what we're thinking with those. So I always like to rename things. So I put this in here. This is just like, it's a weekly data assessment tool. This way they know when they were talking about that in class, because we're not calling it the long file extension name we gave it. You're not referring to that in class. So I like to just keep it simple. So I'm going to click on this with the left piece of my mouse. I'm going to remove the link. These are really just links. So if this happened to be a link from an outside place, you would just fix it here, right? But this is a document. So I'm going to go here. This is the document button, and this is the rich content editor. So this already exists in the course, so I'd go to course documents. If it was new, you would upload it, and it would go to that file that I showed you that had the I, and it would need to be moved. And then user documents is something where you have your own storage account on Canvas. I don't recommend putting a lot of things in here if you're sharing them department-wide, because if you leave tomorrow and your account gets turned off, anywhere where those documents are that have your name on them, they're gone. We've definitely had that happen throughout the college. So I always like to have things live in the course, because even if you're gone, the course documents will always be there. Okay, so I'm going to go to course documents, and then it'll have everything here. You can search for documents by name, but this one happens to be at the top because I just uploaded it. It usually does it in order of when you put it in. So I'm just going to click this, and it'll replace the link for me. And then I would just do this on every page where it existed and where I put it. However, if I forgot where I put it, or I missed one because I didn't realize how many places I put the same document, all you have to do to find it is, and this is where I say delete the old file, remove the old file that's linked in the course completely from the course, because it will then create a broken link in the course, which you can find. So to find broken links in your course, you just go to settings, and then go to validate links and content, and we just start this link validation. If you missed any places of updating that file, it's going to come up in a list here, and it's going to show you. Then you could just click on each assignment and go in and do what I just did. And that'll just help you have like assurance that like nothing's broken from updating the files. If you're updating the file and you want to do it like in here, you do have to like completely delete this from the course. Like you would just, when you edit, it's not going to let you edit the actual location. So like if you have a file here, this is the same one that I did. What I did here was I I like the name, the fancy name that I gave it. I copy that. I'll completely delete this from the module, and then I'll just put it back in. Again, going from file, and all your course files will come up here in a list. So that would be how you put it back into a module if it's in both places. And then I would just give it the name that I cut and pasted here instead of, because it'll always come in as like with the .docx on it. And those are really distracting for students. So I always take those off of the files because I just want things in the module to look clean. And I try to make things labeled as clearly as possible as what they actually are, what you're going to refer to them in class, because that's helpful. If you keep talking about, one thing and you're calling it something else in Canvas, it's really confusing. So anyway, I hope this was helpful and just showing you a little bit about files and how to manage them in your course. All right.